Okay, we're a couple of minutes in, so we'll get going. And if we have some stragglers join us, that's great. So, good morning, afternoon, everybody. I'm Terry Adamson. I'm the Technical Director with Fenestration Canada. Welcome to today's Tech Talk. We're going to be talking about door components, etc. today. So this session is hosted by the door task group, working group. Who our chair of that group is John Grilly. So John, maybe just share a little bit about our group, if you could.
Sure. Thanks, Terry. And thanks to Terry and Scott primarily for organizing this Tech Talk. Our group was formed about a year and a half ago. Specifically, what we were thinking, Terry, myself, and JF, was that in the past, there hadn't been as much focus at FenCan. I mean, we try to get all groups together and participation from all groups, but we found there was less participation from door pre-hangers for whatever reason. Could be our fault, could be just communication, all that kind of stuff. So we thought we'd just form this committee so that we could target some information, technical and otherwise, to be able to help our door pre-hangers because they make up a big component of our Fenestration Canada membership. So that's what we thought we would do, and we try to bring some value with these tech talks, with other kinds of initiatives. We are also, trying to get as many new members because there is strength in membership. And we like to advocate to various governmental organizations, and the more the merrier. So we are offering for anybody that isn't a member 50% discount on membership for the first year. So please take advantage of that if you are a potential new member. Terry, that's all I've got. Back to you.
Okay. Yep. Great. Thanks, John. So yeah, like John said, trying to engage with the pre-hanger industry. So by all means, reach out to us, to myself or John or Lee, and we'll hook you up. So I'd like to welcome Scott Stevenson. Scott's with Quanex AmesburyTruth. Scott was good enough to do some outreach to his network to find us some speakers for today's session. So Scott, take it away.
Thanks, Terry. Thanks, John. So in the door industry, there tends to be questions on multi-point hinged door hardware, which some of you are familiar with, and a lot of you probably aren't. I know I wasn't when it first got introduced. So we hope to cover some interesting topics there. And door sills might sound like a simple subject, but it is not, and it has changed so much. And so we've got another presenter that will cover that from from A to Z. So before we get rolling here, I like to start things off. I'll just share my screen with me. Oh, I grabbed the screen for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you get 15 seconds to come up with an answer if you put it in the chat. Okay, no takers. The answer is doors have more style.
Very good.
All right, you can have the screen back. Okay, first speaker. So Brad, I'm going to put you up on the spot first. Brad Cain is from AK Draftseal. He's been involved in the residential door area, all avenues for, what, 30 years, Brad?
Well, I'm counting. It's closer to 33, but that's okay.
33, okay. So Brad's very known and respected all across Canada, and he gets into the US as well, not only for his technical knowledge, but also his very deep understanding of the overall residential door market. And he's going to talk to us about door sills. Take it away, Brad.
Okay, thanks very much, Scott. First of all, my name is Brad Cain. I'm with AK Draftseal, and as Scott said, it's been 30 years. And when I first walked into Draftseal, I'm going to show you our very first product, and we still sell it.
God, close your
Our typical standard door door sill. Can you see it? I'm hoping I'm okay.
Yep.
And this is built like a battleship, and it was for almost 25 years our standard in-swing sill. And with that would always be what we call a door shoe. That door shoe would fit in the bottom of the door, on top of the cap, and there's your sill. And that's how we did it for, like I say, almost 25 years. And then when the building code wanted in 2010, wanted it to go to the national building code I'm talking about now, they wanted testing for air and water and structural to go with energy. And that was the main catchphrase, energy. And my screen just turned. And at that point, we, like a lot of people, we scrambled around thinking, what are we going to do now? We are going to have to test. And test for air, water, and structural would mean that there's going to be water shot out of a hose, and the water better not go into the house. So we changed everything, even though we kept this sill, and we introduced what we call a Gen 1 storm sill, which is this.
Sorry, Brad, just one sec. Scott, can you close your share?
I'm trying to.
Yeah,
I'm seeing Brad's full screen.
Yeah, I can't see any.
It's hard to see what he's got.
Lee, can you thank
there you go. Thank you.
Are we good?
Okay, you're all good.
This is a water return sill, and I'm going to stand up, and you can see that it has in front weep hole doors. The idea of that is now the water can come into the sill, and if it does happen to come into the bottom of the sill and not in the house, it'll go into this, for lack of a better word, cavity that's under this jam, and then the water will flow at the front. That was the principle we went on, and we were very successful with it. It became our standard. By that, I mean, that's what we passed all our NAFS testing with. We tested, I think, 25 different times. I know that I was also involved with Terry back when he was at West Tech, and testing was a big part of what we did. And it's an ongoing thing. Now, that was for NAFS 08. I don't want to get too technical on NAFS, but everybody knows NAFS right now. The latest NAFS is 17, which we just had an upgrade on our test reports from NAFS 11, not to be confusing, but from NAFS 11, which everybody goes by now, to 17, and now there's another one coming out called NAFS 22, but that's down the road. I'm not up on exactly when that's going to, maybe Scott would know when that might happen, I'm not sure. But the whole idea behind this Generation 1 storm sill was not just to be able to have a water return system, because we knew that everybody else is going to do it, so what are we going to do differently? Well, we decided to, if you look at this, between here, which is what a typical side light component would go. There's the door, there's the T-bar, there's the jam. We decided we would do something I think is pretty unique, and that we would add components that you snap in, enabling you, the customer, the door shop, pardon me, to be able to put glass and or a 1 3/4 inch panel, but it would be secure. And I want to show you a sample of what that looks like. There is a typical SD unit. On this particular side, I don't know if you can see that or not, hopefully you can, is a piece that snaps into the side. It comes out, believe me or not. If you can see that, it snaps in to the base of the sill, and in that motion, it enables you to put a piece of glass in this channel and then, of course, glaze all the way around. So that's what we use for glass. On this side, we have another component that snaps in. You can see it there. I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully I'm showing this correctly. As far as the angle. That enables you to put a 1 3/4 inch panel as a side light. And then that we put these white or base platforms that hold the panel in place. So that's the difference between what our sill does and what most sills do. I'm not saying that somebody else hasn't come up with this idea, but now we have a complete system that enables you to, using the NAF's testing reports, complete the unit without a lot of silicone, a lot of messing around with. The side lights were the big part of what we wanted to do. We wanted to change that whole aspect and make it a lot simpler for the door shop. And obviously this is available in 2x4 jam, 6 and 9 jam, which is what we use mostly here in the Lower Mainland and in British Columbia. 7 1/4 rain screen. We now have 8 7/8, 8 3/4 jam, as you know, going into markets such as Vancouver and markets where they're using a lot of 2x8 construction, and that's going to be more the norm. Is my thought process down the road. I'm seeing it in the Vancouver Island. I also call on the door shops in Alberta. I see a little bit there, but I can tell you that if there's a jam size, we can do a sill for it. And 2 1/4 inch doors, as everybody knows, 2 1/4 inch doors are coming into other markets because of the step code, which I'm not sure if you want us to talk about the step code. That's a big part of what's happening to our industry. It's step code right now, 4 and 5 is being used in various places in Western Canada. I'm not sure what's happening with the step code in the rest of the country, but what I do primarily is all British Columbia, Northwest Territories, and I call on door shops all through Alberta. And this is a system that, it hasn't let us down yet. And we know that compliance and Scott used the word this morning, enforcement, that is on my mind all the time. I think Terry knows how I feel about that. I would like to see everybody get treated the same. By that I mean enforcement on labeling, enforcement on just not cheating, which is what does happen unfortunately once in a while. So I believe enforcement is a big part of the conversation going forward. I know I've said a lot of things here in the last couple of minutes. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, John's got his hand up, so let's do that, and then I have a couple questions as well.
Hey, Brad, thanks for this. Couple quick questions. One is, I see that this here appears as just fixed posts, so it seems like it's a structural system as opposed to a modular system, right? Which some people, they do put boxes together for side lights. So you have a structural mullion there, is that correct? And is that
Yes.
what's needed for, and with a shoe, right? Or with a platform, right?
What I'm holding in my hand, you're bang on, John, is a platform that snaps into the same extrusion. And this enables you to take a lot of the guesswork and a lot of the cutting out of the actual sill. But that box you're talking about, we just wanted to make it a little bit simpler. But of course, we see a lot of that still,
Sure.
50-50.
Yeah.
But this is just something that we know was needed, and it's working out very well for us.
And another quick question on this is your sill system, just like there's other sill systems out there. So if a manufacturer or pre-hanger of doors wants to utilize your sill system, can they piggyback on your test results by using their various doors, or do they have to get retested to be tested under NAFs?
That is just such a great question. That I get asked that all the time because it's a big deal. And the short answer is our test reports are available to anyone that's hanging doors and using our product. Obviously no charge, but that But we upgrade our testing as much as we can. I think I might have mentioned it. If I haven't, I apologize. We just got our upgrade to 2017. We put our test reports in for simulation with our testing company that we use is Intertech. There's QAI and Lab Test, the three main ones that are in this market. But to answer your question, yes. You can
So they can use it as long as they construct it the way that you have it, using the same weather stripping, using the same everything, hardware, you name it.
If it's not done that way, then it's not any good to anybody. So
Sure.
to answer,
No, that's
again,
good.
you're bang on. It has to have, the test report is there for a reason.
Yeah.
We tested for a reason, and we got the numbers using all the components. If they don't use the components, then they're not going to be compliant.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
Thanks, Brad. So question for you on, you mentioned step codes. Do you want to just touch on that briefly to the point where how will changes in step code affect pre-hangers? What can they do to prepare for what's might be coming down the pipe?
again, this is so current. When you bring up step codes right now, depending on where jurisdiction you're in, step 4 I see enforced, step 5, and what that is more thermal performance than it is on NAFs. Now, I might get contradicted on that because I do see this. I just live and breathe this product in this industry. So I do see everything because I get into markets where Campbell River, for example, just had a big project that was with step. I believe they had to use step 5. That was with a fenestration consultant was worked on that job for the contractor. But the step code is, that would have to be a separate tech talk for sure. But it is definitely going to make more testing. It is definitely going to make a lot more work to get thermal performance. I know that door slab companies will supply you with, when I say thermal, I mean glass and the door, mostly fiberglass, but as a component. So what step code is it gives you the entire opening, jamb, sill, doors, windows, and there's a U value attached. And therein lies what a step code is. Performance, thermal performance, to keep the air, cold air out and warm air in. But yeah, like I said earlier, the step code is definitely a separate tech talk.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah, I just want to jump in there as well. So for those outside of British Columbia, step code is our thermal performance pathway for residential buildings. It goes from 1 to 5. Right now, everybody in the province is required to have at least step 3. And as Brad said, there are jurisdictions that will go further than that, and consultants that will go further than that. When you get into the other provinces, you're looking at the typically the NBC and 936 in the NBC and the tiered energy code, so it can be a bit different. And when you get into Ontario, it's even different again. Currently under SB 12, so energy programs vary across the country. But the long and short of it is we're headed towards more efficient buildings, and in turn more efficient fenestration products. And the door industry is definitely going to be challenged to hit some of these targets that we're going to see. Yes. Without getting too far into this, as Brad said, this could be a session unto itself. But so in that conversation, Brad, one of the things I was curious about is you mentioned 2 1/4 slabs. But that system you showed today does not accept the 2 1/4. Is that correct?
That's correct. We do a separate sill for the 2 1/4.
Okay. So you can do it.
We can do it. We need to do it.
That system, I've not seen that before. That's really interesting. Couple of quick questions. It's in black, correct? Only
3 colors: black, gray. And I'm glad you brought that up because we just introduced gray.
Okay.
Which I'm really high on because, to be blunt, black's been 80% of sales.
Black's had its day, man.
And we also do a tan. Tan is a porridge color. but that could be a
Yeah.
good thing or another great thing. When we came
Yeah.
up with this gray, I don't know if you can see it. It really has a kind of a cool commercial feel to it, and it looks great on any color door.
That's a PVC cap, right? Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
And
We also do an open.
Therefore paintable as well, if you want.
Oh, for sure. Oh, for sure. I'm glad you brought that up. We don't see too much of it, but I do know that there's a lot of designers, they don't want their own colors in there, believe it or not.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've seen that painted blue, green, you name it.
So those, I'm going to use the term clips. They simply snap in place in the sill, and then the other three sides would be typically like a wood stop, right? Holding it in.
Absolutely. This piece that I just took out of the, again, is for the 1 3/4 inch. You're right. It actually, I use the word snap. It actually snaps and slides in, but you do need to still, for lack of a better word, old school stops and silicone around the rest of the opening.
And that was going to be my question about that snap in. It needs to be siliconed in place. Is that correct?
No, it snaps right in. It's tight.
But does it seal? Like, what are you getting for water numbers and air numbers?
Well, 25, 30 mostly.
So
we're doing okay.
Covering most of BC. Okay.
I'm not saying, Terry, for a second that somebody couldn't put silicone on it, and I'm pretty sure all the door shops that we visit, I'm sure it's used a lot for silicone, but it's definitely a tight fit.
But in your test reports that you provide, it's not silicone. Is that affirmative? Okay, interesting. Good to know. Okay,
Terry, there's a couple questions in the chat. If you want to read them, you want me to read them?
Let me jump in there. Can these sills be water tested on site? And at what pressures are you getting success?
The short answer is yes. It happens a lot, more every day. Site testing. We're typically we're in the 30 range, 25, 30 for water, even on site. That's a slippery slope.
This next question could be a tech talk unto itself. So why would you want to see more enforcement? It's like car drivers wanting photo radar. We don't. There's always going to be cheaters if we do, and if we don't have enforcement. I mean, I could go on all day about enforcement and compliance. In my former life, we did copious amounts of product testing, and there was nothing more enraging when you were competing with manufacturers that were, had never had products in a lab. Standards and codes are there for a reason. And again, without getting too far down into the weeds on this, there is a requirement for jurisdictions to enforce the building code. And that's what they should be doing. That's my rant on that. But if anybody else has a comment there, happy to take it.
Oh, I was expecting that, Terry.
Yeah. Okay. And then the next one, does this work in commercial buildings, commercial products, commercial?
It works. The short answer is it certainly works, but we also do a whole line of commercial hardware for the hollow metal industry. That's a totally separate part of our company, but there's no reason why you couldn't use it in a commercial job. No reason at all.
Okay, good. Okay. Other questions for Brad? Brad, you're based in Vancouver, right? In case people might not know.
We moved our plant 5 years ago to Langley, but the company started some 60 years ago in Vancouver, yes. And I'm based in North Vancouver, but yeah.
And you provide product across the country, obviously?
We go all the way to Newfoundland.
Okay.
Labrador, all the way. We've got distributors and we have spec writers based in every province, all the way out to the Maritimes. So yes, and we do Northwest Territories, and we have quite a large U.S. base as well. Okay. Actually, our new owners are based in Memphis.
A follow-up comment was car drivers do not want photo radar. Well, yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Another question from David. Questions regarding the display as an XO or OX configuration. can other configurations be used like a simple X, which would be just an operating door? So I don't think
Yes.
that would be there. OXX as an example.
Yeah.
What configurations have you tested?
Well, SDDS with transoms, in swing and out swing, singles, doubles, doubles in, doubles out.
Yeah.
95-inch doors, 42-inch doors, wood and fiberglass. Did a lot of metal in the early days. We did a lot of steel doors. So yes, we
So it
got.
can be. Okay, great. Right on. Okay, good. Anybody else? Hey, Scott, I'm going to take step back and leave it to you for the next one.
All right. First, thanks very much, Brad. That was informative, as always.
It was my pleasure. Believe me.
One last quick question before we step away from Brad here. Which jams were you using? So standard wood jams?
We didn't use. Well, yes. The short answer is we always use wood, but composite is coming fast and furious. So yeah, definitely we use pine majority of the time.
Okay,
great.
On our testing. Couple more questions actually. Does the system use corner seals like foam or brush pile, dust plugs, etc.?
We actually absolutely do, and I'm not showing it here because I had one in my hand. But yes, the corner pads are optional. We tested with them. Pardon, I apologize for not having it handy here, but you've seen them. They're about that big, and they're just either black or white, and they've got
like a foam, right?
Like a foam with a mohair on one side.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they just obviously go in the corners. I don't know if you can see that.
Okay, so working on anything for patio doors? I'm assuming you mean sliding doors.
Well, that's an excellent question because that's a separate sealing system. You wouldn't put it, the sill and everything is built right into the frame. So we don't have anything separate for sliding. We do for fold.
I was actually looking at that system. I was wondering if you're using that or something similar in a draining sill for your folding door systems.
Well, the Eclipse system that you're referring to, which used to be part of our company, which was sold, we always use the water return sill in the Eclipse folding door system, and it is part of the building code. It is treated like a side hinge door. So the short answer is yes, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
And then question for pre-hangers using composite jams, your test reports would not be valid. That's a question?
That I know is a gray area. I've been asked that before. I've talked to the testing companies about that. What we did is you can put in, when we do a jam system on say a double, we would do a composite on one side and a pine on the other, and we'd be able to cover it off.
Yeah.
So the short answer is yes. You can use
and I do know that some of the labs will work with manufacturers and pre-hangers about component switching. So if you were to swap out a jam system, that was essentially identical but maybe a different substrate, that you might be able to have a lab support that. But you should talk to your labs about that.
If they know ahead of time that you're doing that. The same with weather strips. We put 2 different weather strips in our testing, one fire rated, one not fire rated. So we're covered off on that as well.
Okay.
But you're right. Talk to the testing agency. They'll give you a better.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Scott wanted to make sure we grab those questions, so go ahead.
Yes, glad to see the questions. Keep them coming, folks. Throw them in the chat. Raise your hand. Next presenter, Gary Tagtow from Quanex AmesburyTruth. I believe one of his backgrounds is as a design engineer. Gary has several decades of experience researching, designing, and also implementing multi-point hardware products for residential doors. And I worked closely with Gary over the last 12 years. I can tell you he's one of the most acknowledged experts in North America. Take it away, Gary.
Thanks for the kind words. My name's Gary Tagtow. I've been with Quanex for 21 years, in the industry for 26. As Scott mentioned, I started out actually the old Amesbury company when we were just getting into hinge door hardware. I've had the pleasure of now working on our 4th generation multi-point lock through those 21 years. So today I'm going to be sharing kind of the applications that are out there, the different types of locks, focused on, obviously performance as well as really intuitive operation on these systems. Let me know if you can see my screen before I get going here. You guys good?
Yep.
You're good.
All right, excellent. So hold on here. Okay, so the focus today is really on patio door, hinge patio doors, and multi-point lock hardware. That's the focus area. And I'm going to start with the original locks that came to market, and these were the European systems. So European meaning the thumb turn is below the handle. A lot of systems out there. These are mounted in a Euro groove. You can see a Euro groove here and your standard 16 or 20 mil wide Euro grooves that we have in the market. Key cylinders, American or the profile or European systems, and really the bulk of the volume in the market today would be systems like this, heavily used. The operation is where you lift the handle. Once you get the full stroke of that gearbox, then you're able to lock that system. So these systems are the downside of these systems has been, really intuitive. People that aren't familiar with them, maybe it's a VRBO application, something like that. They don't know how to operate them. But one of the benefits of these systems, a lot of talk about performance, air, water, structural, obviously security. But one of the other benefits of the multi-point lock is really preventing bow and warp. A lot of the applications in the market are wood, heavily on wood. So this is another factor that comes into play. And as we kind of roll through these distance systems, you'll see some of the benefits of some of the newer systems that are coming out. I'm not going to get into a lot of the different lock points that are out there, but obviously you got chutes and tongues and rollers and rhino hooks. And then of course there's different back sets, or from the edge of the door to the center line of the handle, there's different gearbox back sets that are needed to fill the market. A couple other things that you can see on this particular lock is the anti-slam feature, so that preventing you from accidentally engaging those lock points and slamming the door. So you're protecting that has to be depressed by the strike plate before the lock points can be engaged. Couple other things just on this slide, and then we'll move on. But a lot of these locks can be sized to fit your door panel heights as well as handle heights, and then these lock points can be placed, wherever a customer would prefer to have them. There's capabilities out there to allow that you get these locks and you can drop them right into your door. One other feature here I'll just mention is the pull and twist latch handing. So some of the systems out there, you cannot do this while that lock is installed. So what I mean by a pull and twist is as that lock is installed, you can pull this latch out and rotate it to change the handle of that door. So moving on to the next system is a North American system. It's a Euro mount like we talked about previously, but North American being the thumb turn is above the handle. And one of the next generation locks here, one of the key differences is these systems have a independent deadbolt or a babysitter feature. And they also some of them incorporate an anti-cut through pin in that deadbolt. And what the babysitter feature is, like I talked before with the VRBO application, you don't know how to operate it. So, just as you bring a babysitter in your home, maybe they don't know how to lift the handle in order to lock the European system. So this system here is you can go up to it and you can you can turn that thumb turn and get that deadbolt to come out. You only have one lock point, but you do have security. One of the things that does limit this system, or as could be a downside of this system, is if you don't lift the handle at all, you don't do that operation, then you could be, more prone to bow and warp because you don't have all those lock points necessarily engaged out on a construction site. So that's just something there to think about with these systems. One of the other things really added on with some of these is communication. So for a active and inactive double door communication, I'm talking mechanical communication. So something here that has been incorporated with these systems is the ability to ensure that your inactive panel is the chute bolts are engaged before you can lock the active side, and that's done via a lot of different ways to do it, but in this case, you can see a little blocker mechanism here on the inactive lock, which has to be moved out of the way for that deadbolt to come in. Some of the other things with that communication is those systems too can have the ability to work together to automatically lock that inactive side. And what that does for you is when you go up to that double door, now your handle sets, you only really need one active set, and you can use a handle set without a thumb turn or a key cylinder on an inactive side. So communication is another thing added to some of these next generation systems. Moving on to the next system is a concealed system, so a completely different application here. This system just uses 2 chute bolts. Typically, these rods are threaded into the gearbox, and the benefit here is when you look on the edge of that door, you just see a trim plate and the gearbox. You don't see the Euro groove and the face bar running the full length, and you can see those rods are tucked into style. Several ways to do that. One of the things that is a future for this type of a system is there is a need to service these systems better in the field, as well as offer a smaller footprint in manufacturing. So when you think about manufacturing and say a 10-foot tall door, and you've got to thread a rod in, you need a lot of space at the head of that door to get that rod, have room to get that rod threaded down through the head into the gearbox. So there's systems being developed with quick connections and disconnect features to where you can completely service some of these systems in the future through that gearbox mortise. And then kind of the final system I'll speak to today, and we can open up for some questions, is the auto fire systems in the market. Again, they're a Euro mount system. These are talking about intuitive locking. These particular systems, you shut the door and these little latches will fire. So the benefit there is intuitive locking. You shut the door and you go up and you turn the thumb turn, and that system's secure. Those systems also benefit, mainly in the construction phase, but really, any time of the year in different environments, to ensure that every time you shut that door, you're getting those locks and lock points engaged so that you're getting your full air water structural performance. Something new coming with this area is really a hybrid type system. So as these doors are, continue to keep getting taller and taller and taller, really having the ability for a 5-point system is something that makes a lot of sense. So some of these systems coming out will have the ability for a 5-point to where you can shut the door, your upper and lower latch points will fire. You'll be able to lock the system right there and have the security. But then if you do need extra performance, say for a 8-foot and taller door, you can still lift that handle and drive chutes into the head and the sill. Any questions so far on kind of those systems? That's kind of the last system I was going to speak to.
Quick thing, Terry, if I can, just as a reminder in these tech talks and just in general, and great job, by the way, Gary. is just a reminder that we just have to be very careful about, and I'm not saying you said anything, but I'm just saying when there's a question in the chat about how does it compare to a competitor's brand and so forth. So we have to be careful of that kind of stuff. So just
Absolutely.
wanted to bring that up. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it's a great point. So those questions can be taken offline with Gary or Brad. Yeah, Gary, thanks for that. A couple of things. 5-point, interesting when you get into some tall doors. Is there anything being done on North American style multi-point systems where you get into corner drives and you actually turn the corner top and bottom in the slabs?
There have been, I mean, mainly those are what I would call more your commercial tape drive systems. You see those a lot more.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. No, that's good. What about integrating smart locks and things? Is there anything like that going on with these systems?
That question comes up quite frequently, and I will say that some of the newer systems on the market where especially where you have that babysitter feature or independent deadbolt to where to secure that lock you can just turn that thumb turn. Those work a lot better for the smart locks, just because you don't have to necessarily especially like an auto fire, for instance, being able to shut that door and automatically fire those lock points. Then you really just turn that thumb turn to lock that system out. So those are, I would say, better for those type of smart locks.
Okay, so they can be integrated. Okay, good.
Yep.
So Hugo's asking here, is the length of the deadbolt defined by code? It is actually. I heard that 1 inch was standard, but also see lots of deadbolts that are 20. So if I'm not mistaken, the current National Building Code calls for a 25 millimeter throw. Is that what these are, or are they less than that? Or
the deadbolts are typically 1 inch.
Yeah.
Now there are a lot of I will say that there are locks on the market, especially when the styles are getting narrower. So like say a 35 millimeter back set where you have where the jams are limited. Some of those systems are going to a slightly shorter deadbolt, so you're not poking through the jam.
Right. Okay.
But I would say that's not super common.
Okay. And then one other item that I ran into in the past using multi-point systems, especially the European systems, that thumb turn, and I don't know if this is changed in recent years, you would have to turn it 2 or 3 or 4 times or even more in some cases. Is that still a scenario that's going on with these systems?
So I would say that is more of a European system that would use a profile cylinder.
Okay.
I would say that a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of them out there still, but I would say the trend is more towards American key cylinders, tails.
Okay. Yeah, the reason I ask is I was actually challenged by a building official that was now not common knowledge to open that door because you had to turn the thumb turn so many times. So I'm curious if that's been addressed in these systems today, but sounds like maybe some have, some haven't. So good
Correct.
thing to watch out for.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, let's see here. Another question. Are your locks made overseas, in the Orient, in Asia, Europe?
You talking specifically the Quanex systems?
Yeah.
Yeah, our new platform would be in Asia.
Yeah. Okay. Keyed operated system from Europe, a 360-degree cylinder, then yes, 2 or 3 times. So just responding to my comment about multiple turns. Okay. Any other questions for Gary?
Terry, I just wanted to ask, I know I find that I get a lot of customers who are wanting to do fiberglass doors, and obviously your multi-points would work in fiberglass doors as well as wood doors, right? First question just came to mind. Would they also work in steel insulated doors? Do people use them in steel insulated doors as well?
They can.
Okay.
I would say that it depends on if you can get that Euro groove in there,
Right. Yeah, exactly.
with a steel edge on some of those systems out there, that's pretty difficult. But
Sure.
with
Sure.
a wood edge, typically, yeah, you can do that.
So the question is this, I know that there are some pre-hangers that will say that we won't sell fiberglass doors unless we sell them with multi-points, or they strongly suggest that. Do you see a lot of that in the marketplace? And second part of that question is, um, do the multi-points help with any potential warpage?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing better than a multi-point for bow and warp prevention. I think that's something that is not as oftenly thought of for performance on multi-point locks. I mean, you stick with your air water structural and 200-mile-an-hour wind loads for these systems, but bow and warp prevention is and keeping those panels straight is another huge benefit of them for
But
sure.
there's no guarantee, right? I mean, because they
No, you
could
can't.
still, right? Yeah.
You can't guarantee it, but certainly having a lock running the length of that panel to keep it straight is going to help you for sure.
100%. Thank you.
Especially when you see so many black and dark gray doors out there that are exposed, right, to the sun. They oftentimes need some assistance staying flat and
Correct.
see. So yeah, okay. Let's see here. Do we have another one? Do you have / supply a jig for prepping doors?
We have some for a few of our products, but that is something that we've worked with some outside companies in past years for that. But we don't. I wouldn't say we really sell anything off the shelf today for that.
Yeah, usually requires some in-house tooling and equipment to do that work, right? So yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's also companies out there that do provide jigs, et cetera, along with routers and whatnot.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant. We work with them and provide our specs to them so they can set them up.
Okay. Looks like it. Scott, I'm gonna let you wrap that up.
Actually,
Great.
one
Well, thanks.
last question, if I can,
Oh, yeah,
Scott.
go ahead.
And this
Sure.
question is for both Gary and is Brad, if Brad's still here, but is what are the trends that you see, Gary? Like in terms of finishes, in terms of just what is hitting the market? What's hot right now in terms of hardware or multi-points and so forth? Is it particular finishes? Is it pins top and bottom, or is it 3-point, 5-point? What are the oversized doors? What do you see right now?
All of the above. Doors continue to get
Yeah.
bigger, which is really good for multi-points. I think there's a lot more discussion right now with entry doors, kind of moving away from patio doors where a lot of this stuff, started, but entry doors is getting to be a pretty hot topic for improved performance. And entry and patio door historically have had greatly different performance levels, and I see a trend now where more and more locks are going into entry doors. Finishes, black has been hot lately. Of course, satin nickel continues to be hot. I would say the satin brass is probably another one that is coming up more and more, to kind of get away from your polished brass. Going to satin brass would be probably three top finishes that are coming up.
Yeah, they get rid of brass and then they bring it back because
Yep.
it's kind of
Now
brass.
you
Yeah.
see a lot of the online, or not online, but television design renovation shows. Lots of brass coming back, and the satin brass. Yeah, what's old is new again, for sure.
Yeah. Hey, Terry, can I just, John, I'll just speak to item that you brought up about trends, and also Terry, you brought up 5-point locking. A trend, because doors are getting bigger, wider, taller. One trend, you're going to see more and more multi-point needed just to pass your testing, and I'll give a specific example. If you've got a 6080 double door unit, when you test for for load, and if it's 8 feet higher or more, you pretty much have to use two multi-points, one on the active and inactive, because if you only have chute bolts on the active panel, you've got one pin top and bottom holding a 48 square foot wind load, and it'll just blow it up. So you need chute bolts on both sides on DD units.
For sure.
Yeah.
Picked up a couple more questions asking if you offer black faceplates. I would assume yes. I mean, black's pretty trendy.
You're talking about like a face bar, or
yeah, like for hardware, black faceplates and that.
Oh, like handles, I think, Gary.
oh
I think so. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so another one mentioned lock engages when you shut the door on your I think he called whatever it was, can't remember. Are there, or do you have multi-point options that still engage automatically but don't lock you out unless you fully lock them? So these active ones, do they lock you out, I guess is the question.
Yeah, great question. So the way those auto fires work is you shut the door, those latches hit a strike plate, and then they fire. But that system is not locked or secure until you turn that thumb turn.
So you can get back in using the handle.
You can still you can still pull the handle down and retract them, just like your center latch. Yep.
Okay, excellent. Thanks. Okay, Scott, just before you wind us up, the person that was asking and commenting about enforcement and why we should have enforcement, I'd love to hear more from you. I don't know if you're a member or not, but please, I encourage you to reach out to me, Terry@FenestrationCanada.ca. I'd like to hear your logic. I'd like to discuss it more with you if you're open to it. Okay, Scott, wind us up.
All right. I'd like to thank again our two presenters very much for taking the time and effort to put together these presentations. Always valuable information. To the group that joined us, thanks for your time. Please stay engaged in our industry and especially in the door end of things. If you have opportunities to promote Fenestration Canada and the Door Committee, by all means, please do. We're stronger together.
Okay, one last question because I didn't get it right. When he was asking about black, he was asking about along the edge of the door. So the multi-point hardware that's exposed along the edge of the slab. Can it be black?
Currently, we do not have a face bar that is black. I don't know if I've seen that yet. On a concealed system, where you just have a trim plate, yes, that certainly could be black.
Okay, thanks everybody. Appreciate your time today, and watch your email and our feed on our website for our next Tech Talk coming up in May. Thanks a lot, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.